Hi Joyce, hi Judy, hi D Gabriel. Yep, all is good, thank you. Hi Cynthia. Hi Cindy. Hi Sherry. Now, when I was on Facebook on my regular page, some people were saying they couldn't come on here and comment, and I don't know why. Hi Tracy. Hi Sherry. Hi Donna. So, if anybody has any suggestions, that would be awesome. I'm wondering if it's because maybe they don't have their comments turned on their page. I don't know. This is my first time doing a YouTube channel, so I'm just kind of getting used to it. It's a little bit different than Facebook. Hi Joanne. Hi Georgina. Hi Elma. I'm good, thank you, Vicky. Hope you're doing good too. That's what I thought. I was wondering if they have to have their comments turned on as well. Hi Tracy. Hi, Eileen. Hi Elma. Hi Melanie. Hi Shan. So Joyce is making a good comment. She says, "Is that possible to see spirits when a loved one is about to pass away?" I'd say yes, and I'll tell you why. Um, some people, especially right before they pass, they'll see somebody they know, grandparents or a family member or friend that's coming through, and they're just coming through to let them know it's okay. And they'll try to let them know it's okay. And I get that a lot with the people who are in hospice. I hear a lot of those kind of stories. So some people call them visitors, but it's usually not the negative. It's just something to let them know that the transition is going to be okay when they cross over. Yeah, Joanne, I just decided to get on tonight. Sure, that's interesting. Some people don't remember their dreams. Usually, when our loved ones come to visit us in our dreams, it's usually like right before we wake up in the morning. That's what I usually notice with people. And it's happened to me quite a bit. Nightmares usually happen at night. That's why I can tell the difference. If you're waking up in a panic, I'm wondering what that might be. I'm wondering if it's coming through. That's interesting. Hi, DJ. Thank you, by the way. God bless you too. Yeah, Leslie, if you get nightmares all the time, my best there's some things you can do to help prevent it, and sometimes these may work. Get like those little pouches, and then put some sage in there and a couple little small crystals and put them in your pillowcase. Those work. Also, smudge your bedroom. When you smudge your bedroom, smudge over your bed too. That seem to work quite a bit. Amethyst works, especially those little crystals with the amethyst. If you want to put those in there, they keep away, the bad dreams. If you're a Catholic, sometimes wearing, certain metals around your neck when you. Shane's saying, what does it mean when you have an ex come in your dream? You just looking at you with love in their eyes. If it's an ex, I probably think it's a nightmare, and I'd probably say, I hope I never have to dream like that again. I don't know. Was Joyce saying that yesterday when her aunt passed away? I'm sorry, she was in the hospital in Billings, Montana, and mom. So I'm wondering if your mom and your aunt were very close. I mean, if that hasn't happened before, I probably assume that might be her spirit just letting people know she's okay. She may not have crossed over yet. Some spirits don't cross over right away. They just wait for a little period of times before they cross over. Hi, Rainbow, supernatural. So it's just hard to say. But if it's something that hasn't happened before, I'd probably say it's your aunt. And just try to talk to her or have somebody talk to her until it's okay to cross over. Hi, Shirley. I'm good here. How are you, Marianne? Elma says she wears a necklace of her son's fingerprint and she rubs it. It makes her feel close to him. I have my mom's ashes that were made into a cross and I keep them in my car. Um, and when I think before I touch those, like I touch that cross and I talk to her. Well, that's so interesting you brought that up because last week I was just driving and the radio station that's playing. So I was listening to my playlist and the weirdest thing happened. Out of the blue, it just switched to the radio station. And I looked at that. There was no way that could have happened unless I'm actually programming it to touch that. So it kind of bothered me because I knew I wasn't alone in that car, and I knew something like felt like it was my mom, but I wanted to double check because I know she does stuff like that, and it was my mom. She was just letting me know she was with me. So I thanked her, and I had a talk with her. They'll do things, let us know they're always around. Hi, Janice. I don't know what's going on. Why I keep breaking up. I'm not sure what's going on with this. Judy, if you haven't heard from your mom and your dad on the other side, there could be a few reasons why. Sometimes we're still in mourning, and we're in mourning. That usually means that our loved ones are giving us signs, but we're not paying attention to them. They may be coming in our dreams, and we're saying, and your loved one will come to me and say, "I was in that person's dream," and the reader will say, "That person didn't come up in my dreams." Well, what happens is you're still in. Sometimes it's either that you're in mourning, you're still in mourning of one of them or both of them. The second thing is something tragic could have happened to you in your past, like something like some kind of trauma. I usually get this with some people with brain trauma, but it could be other things like some kids might have been molested or abused. It could have been a lot of weird, even a car wreck, some kind of trauma. And what that does is it keeps your wall up. And they kind of go day to day with this wall up. And then when our loved ones are showing signs or letting us know they're there, then we can't see it. It's something that we have to work on, if that makes sense. I'm sorry, Heidi. I don't know what's going on. Usually, when people subscribe to this page, I should get a notification. Mary Ann's saying, "What's your first memory of seeing something with your gift?" Wow, that's a good question, Mary Ann, because I think of that sometimes, and it's hard for me to think. I don't know how further I can go back. My mom would tell me when I was a baby, I would look up in the crib, and somebody was always entertaining me. As a little boy, I was always looking up in the sky. Um, to me, seeing spirits, whether they be good or evil or angels, that to me, this was always normal to me. I didn't think it was. That's why I'm not really scared of this stuff as much. Yeah, I get. I'm human, and trust me, I do get jumpy, and and I do get scared once in a while. But a lot of times I don't. If I know if I can feel what it is before it happens, I know, and then I don't feel like I'm being scared because I understand it. So I think that's a good question. Okay. Now there was when I was a little boy, we lived in Butte, Montana, and it's an old miner town. It's a small town in Montana, and there was a place called Homestake Lake. It's kind of like in the mountains. You have to drive up the overpass. Well, my an aunt and uncle that owned this old. I'm trying to think what it was called. It was a place where all those miners would stay, like a boarding house. That's what it was called, a boarding house. And it was like from the 1800s. So so my uncle inherited it. So he was supposed to take care of this old abandoned building, and it was just beautiful on the outside. It kind of looked like a Victorian house out in the middle of the woods, and he was just staying there to live to help remodel it for I think his dad or something. But me and my brother, I think no, in fact, I don't know if my brother was there, but I know I was sleeping on the couch. And I think I was 4 or 5. My cousin, he was still in diapers. I think he was laying on the opposite side of the couch to me, And I don't know what time it was, but I woke up and I remember screaming bloody murder. And my uncle and my aunt came downstairs and they wanted to know what was going on. And I kept pointing outside, and it was hard for me at that age to describe what I was seeing. And when I remember what it was back then, what I did see was an orb. It was like a light, and it kept going through the trees. And I'm wondering at that, and I look back on that. It was like 4 or 5, and I look back on that time. And I don't know what scared me, if that thing scared me on purpose or if I couldn't understand it. But I screamed bloody murder. I think that was one of the first things at that time that really got to me, that really scared me. And I don't know if it was a spirit, a nature spirit, or if it was a human spirit, or what kind of energy it was, but it did scare me. I'd probably say that was probably one of them. Hi, everybody's shown up. If I didn't say hi, I'm seeing people coming on right now. Hi, Carla. Yeah, Joyce, if you can smell them, like if he's a smoker or whatever, then yeah, that he would acknowledge you. That's him. Mary B, if you're getting I don't know what's going on in your house until I do a reading, but if you're getting orbs and shadows in your house, you might want to try to smudge it. But if it's something that comes back and it's worse, then you need to find a medium in your area that can help get rid of it. Thanks, Marianne. I'm hoping to write a book one day. Everybody keeps telling me that. Even my spirit guides tell me that because I don't need to retire. I'll be writing books later on, and that's what my retirement plan will be. Yes, I love Butte. I was born and raised in Butte, Montana. So that's a good question. Judy's saying, if a spirit crossed over around 20 years, do they stop sending you messages? It's possible, and I'll tell you why, Judy. It's not because they don't love you and they don't care. What that usually means is that they know that you know that they're at peace, so they don't have to keep coming down here all the time, doing things to let you know they're okay. If that makes sense. If we know they're at peace, and in our heart and our mind, we know they're at peace. They'll still come by. Trust me, they'll visit you all the time, but they may not let themselves be known like they did before. Like my mom, she'll still do stuff once in a while, but I can still feel her, but she doesn't do a lot of the stuff she did right after she died, if that makes sense. So I know she's at peace, but my brother, on the other hand, he's logical thinker, so she's always messing with him at his house, and the stories I hear, I just laugh. It's kind of crazy. But if you want your loved one to come to do more stuff to you, just ask them. Just say mom, and just some work. Just say mom and use her first and last name, and just throw it out there, and just think of her when you're saying it. Can you come down and do something? Can you show me you're here? Can you do stuff like you used to? And she will, or he will. I guarantee it. Teresa's saying she keeps seeing someone at the front door. My front door? I hope it's not my front door. You know what I'm thinking about doing next month is October. Maybe I'll do 1 week of like one of these shows and just talk about a scary story, a true scary story that happened to me. I think that's what I'm going to do because I have a couple really creepy ones. I think I've said them in videos in the past, but I think I'll do them again this Christmas. I mean, this Halloween. I'm not, Eileen. I'm sorry, I'm not doing readings right now. I'm doing readings on Sunday. That's my time of giving in for readings. I'm just answering regular questions. Hi, Mirosalva from Miami. I hope I said your name right. Welcome. Mary Ann's asking, do I find myself more close to family because of how emotional? My family in Montana know I have this gift. My family in Arizona, they're kind of closed off. It's kind of a that family down there is more of a narcissistic family. They pretend they're religious and they pretend they accept everybody. But on the other hand, when I got to be with them, they're kind of fake. And I hate to say it about my family, but they are. If you've ever been in a narcissistic family, you would understand what I'm talking about. I just say it how it is. I'm not going to lie. I'm not trying to be mean about that family. I'm just saying that's just how they are down there. It's kind of like being in a cult. And it's another thing I'm going to do another video about one of these days is about, again, on this channel is probably be narcissists, the spiritual side of that stuff. Thanks, Heidi. Janice, if you're feeling love taps on your shoulders, that means there's somebody trying to get your attention to say they're okay. Thanks, Shirley. Don't be Mary B, don't be scared. If you get scared, these spirits that are negative, these malevolent spirits, they love to feed off of that anger. They like to cause, confusion, anger, and they like to cause fear. If you keep having that negative feelings in your house, they're going to stick around more. They need that. They'll do things to get you and your granddaughter or whoever's in that house all worked up. And so you got to starve these. Excuse, I hate to say, I'm not going to say the word cuss, right? I always say that usually, but you got to cuss these. You got to starve these bee people. I can't say the word, but you know what I'm talking about. You have to starve them, and how you starve them is you start praying more to God. You start praying out loud. You and your granddaughter, especially if I think two or more together. If you're a Christian, Jesus is always with you. So don't be. Jesus in the Bible, numerous times it says, "Don't be afraid." God doesn't want us to be afraid. Also, if you ever learn to meditate, that will help you, because when we meditate, we kind of close our mind off for a minute, and our mind creates the fear. It causes the worry. It causes the overthinking. When we learn to meditate often, you're not as fearful anymore. I know it sounds crazy, but it's true. And that's how you can control the fear. I didn't know that for the longest time, but that's how I controlled my fear. Let's see here. I have a lot of questions, so if I don't get everybody, forgive me. Tracy's asking, what does a narcissist act like? Well, I got it. Don't get me going on that, because if I start going about the narcissist again, I go on and on and on. Something happened to the person who has a narcissistic personality. Something bad happened to him. Now, a lot of bad things happen to a lot of us when we're little, but we don't become narcissists. A lot of us don't. There's just a small percentage that do. And usually something bad happens to somebody when they're younger, when they're a kid, whether they've been molested, verbally abused, put down, treated like dirt, or just there's just a lot of sad stuff. So in a way, I do feel sorry for him, but I don't want them to know I feel sorry for him, because if you do that, they're going to use that against you. So a narcissist is a person that pretends to be like they're interested in you. They want to know everything about you. It's kind of like they're trying to snare you in. And once they think they have you, then they do some kind of abuse to you. They gaslight you. They'll lie. They'll do a lot of things to you, and it becomes emotionally and spiritually draining, and it's an abusive for the people that have to go around it. So every time you stand up for yourself or defend yourself, the narcissist always is a step ahead, and they're always there to make you look like you're the bad person, if that makes sense. And then they're the innocent ones, so they twist stuff around. It's kind of very demonic, and we'll talk about the narcissist and the demonic side again in the future when I do another video. Yeah, narcissists are the worst people. King Harold was a narcissist. Who else was a narcissist in the Bible? You have what was her name? Jezebel in the Bible. She was a narcissist. There's a lot of people in the Bible that the Bible warns us about, but sometimes we don't see that, and that's the scary part. Just like with people who go into cults, because that's the person who's running the cult's a big narcissist, and it's just like you're in a narcissist family. It's a cult. That's what it is. You can't control a narcissist. All I can tell you guys is pray for them, pray for your own health, protect yourself. Don't tell a narcissist too much what's going on in your personal life, because they will use it against you. If they feel that you're doing better than them, they're going to want to compete against you. And I have a stepmom, and I've said this millions of times, but she's a pastor's wife. So the last day I was there, I was in Arizona, and I took this really cool picture of a sunset, and I was like, because Arizona's got cool sunsets. Well, on my way on the plane, I looked on my phone, and she's already taken one, trying to outdo mine. Well, she couldn't outdo mine. So she was, and I've noticed that, and I started looking back at other posts and other things that she would do. Like if I posted something on my page, on my other Facebook page, not my what do you call it? not my Medium page, but my regular page. She would go and tell my family in Montana and other people that are my dad's family that my posts hurt her feelings. So she was always trying to be above everything. So these narcissists have a weird kind of knowledge, like a weird kind of I'm trying to think what it's called, intellect that normal people don't. Very calculative. And if you ever around a narcissist, it's just it's not normal to you. And they all seem to be the same. They all act the same way. And yeah, one thing that I use, and and you can always go back to this video, but I always say this, and it did work for me because when I got back from Arizona, it's been months and she kept popping in my head, and I would have a good day and she would just be popping in my head. And when I did a reading on it, it said it's the demon that hides within her. It's the narcissist demon. It's called a Jezebel demon, and you need to bind her. And I go, well, how do I do that? So what I did was I said I bind. How do I put it? I bind the demon that resides in Brenda Wolf, and I said it in the Brenda Wolf in the blood of Jesus Christ, and I said it 3 times. I bind the demon that resides in Brenda Wolf in the blood of Jesus Christ, and I said that 3 times. And after I said it, then she quit. She doesn't bother me anymore. And I was grateful for that. It worked. Yes, they are control freaks. Teresa, if you keep seeing someone at your front door, smudge your front door and start saying a prayer, or if you have holy water, throw holy water on it. If you don't know who this spirit is that's at your front door, it's probably not a good one. He's probably wanting to come in. Thank you, Mary B. Well, thanks, Shirley. Marcelva's asking, how do I communicate with spirits? Do they talk to me in sentences or signs? She's curious. See, Marcelva, everybody's got different gifts that we're all given. I really believe that. Some people are artists, some people are singers. I can't sing, I can't do art. Some people are multi-gifted. I don't, but I can sit there forever trying to learn, something with like a banjo or the piano, and I can't. My dad's side of the family, you give somebody in that side of the family, they never played it, they can pick up on it like that. I can't. Skip me. Gifts that we're giving, don't always have to mean that they're like spiritual, like what I have. Everybody's got something different about them that some of us always wish we had that, but we got what we're given. For me, I'm a trance medium, and I'm also a mental medium. So what that means is you'll see me doing a lot of scribbling. Well, this isn't really trying to find out where it's at. This isn't really what I do, but like if I had a pen and paper, you'll see me going like this a lot when I'm doing, and you'll see me looking around, and you'll be hearing me doing that. That just helps me to connect with the spirit. When I say connect with spirit, I'm connected with people who've crossed over in heaven. I don't communicate with earthbound lower realm spirits. But what I do is when I start doing that, then the mental mediumship kicks in, and that's when I'm able to see the spirits and I can describe to them what I'm seeing. Now, when I'm doing the scribbling, it's kind of like inside auditory, inside my ear or inside my head, I can hear them talking, and it's so crazy. But once the pen stops, that's when the conversation sometimes stops. If that makes sense, it's kind of like that needle on the record. It kind of reminds me of that. Teresa, are you feeling drained? Is there anything I can do to give myself more energy? Meditation will help you quite a bit. Praying and meditation. But when you're doing meditation, make sure you pray for protection before you do that, because you don't want to be open. Judy's asking, have I ever studied Reiki? I haven't, and I don't know if that's where my path is going to go on later, because have you ever had one of those pictures taking of you of your aura? Well, there's a guy in this town that does it, and he took a picture of my aura, and he goes, "Oh my goodness!" I go, "What?" And he looked and he showed it to me, and I was all completely green, like from the head all the way down to the bottom of my feet. And I don't know. I mean, I know about auras, but I didn't understand what that was about. And he told me, he goes, "You should be." He goes, "I know you're a healer because you're a medium, but," he goes, "this kind of green that I've seen on you, I've never seen on anybody else," which tells me that you have the gift to actually probably lay hands on people and heal them. And it kind of blew my mind off. I mean, blew my mind a little bit, which I did believe him. I did, because there's been many times where people, when they're around me, and even in a room, they'll say they have to sit next to me because they feel my energy. They have to be around me all the time, and I get that a lot. Um, I don't know. I maybe one day I'll do some kind of healing like that, but I don't know. Mary's saying her daughter Yvette is severely disabled. There is a spirit around her. Her daughter also cannot speak to let me know. Thank you. So Mary, I don't sometimes some spirits will take advantage of people who are disabled or have a disability. I mean disabled or mentally disabled. And that's really sick. I mean, to me, I mean, that's one of the lowest things a spirit can do, is to torture somebody that's like that, in my opinion, especially children. What you can do for her is you need to protect her. I don't know if you're a Catholic or not, but I would probably keep holy water around, and just douse her once in a while, with it, or just put a cross over her head. I would always smudge around her with, get by sage and start smudging and doing some prayers out loud. Smudge your entire house as well. Start praying, Saint Michael the Archangel, for protection for her. I don't know what kind of spirit this is. It could be a family member, it could be an angel, or it could be something that's malevolent or dark. So if it's something malevolent and dark, I would say you gotta fight against that, and protect her and pray for her. Um, Mercelvis, and how do you find out about what is happening at first, that you can talk to spirits? It's really hard, Mersalva, because I'm a trance medium, and once I just go, I just go. It just comes to me. I don't know how to explain it. That's how it works with me. Shirley, you have my prayers, by the way. I just said a quick prayer for you. Mary Ann is saying, so the writing, scribbling kind of focus you on what you're seeing. Yeah, it does. The scribbling, it's not spirit writing. So the scribbling just helps me to focus, and that's all it is. And that's how I feel like I'm able to connect more. It's just I have to have my hand going, and that's what keeps me going. How did I recognize to do that? Is because, well, I took a spiritual development course because I knew I had this gift, but I didn't know how to use it right in an appropriate way. And people in that course were coming out better speakers, better artists, better psychics or mediums. I became a better medium from that. But it was in the course. They talked a quick part about automatic writing, and what I was curious about it. So I went home, and I put my pen on the paper, and I just asked questions. And as I'm doing it, I started scribbling, but I could hear it coming. The knowledge that I didn't know, that I mean, it's hard to explain. Like I would ask questions, and it would tell me. Like it's just, and I just knew right then this is legit. It works for me, because I can do readings like this, like if I'm like this to me, you, and that's not a problem. But I just like doing this. I like to keep my hand going because it helps me go. So Judy's asking, can I connect with their spirit guides and get their names? Judy, I'm one of the mediums that don't like to give people names of their spirit guides or angels, and I said this many times, and I'll tell you why. Because when if I blurt out a name of a spirit guide, and if you have a sorry, a malevolent spirit or dark entity near you, that entity will pretend to be that spirit guide and confuse you, and make it look like he's, and it's just not good. I don't like to say it out loud, if that makes sense. It's more of a protection thing. I can see the spirit guides sometimes, or ask them to show themselves. So show them, and I'll describe the person I'm seeing, but I don't like giving out names. Marcel, I've had this gift. I think I was born with it. I did a reading on myself, and it said I was chosen. That's all I know. I think it comes from my Native American part of my family, the Chippewas, the Crees from Canada. One of my great 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 grandfather was Chief Big Bear. His tribe was pushed down to Montana and they were known as the Landless Indians until this last year. So, and that was like in the 1800s, I think, late 1800s. But there's a movie called Big Bear, and it's made after that, after him, and he was a peacemaker. And he would go out to the prairie. He would sit and he would, go into his meditation, and he would talk to the Great Spirit, and that Great Spirit was, obviously God. So that's what helped him help his people, and year to year, he was able to help by communicating with the Great Spirit. We get different, Joyce. We get different spirit guides that come and go in out of our lives, but we always have that main one. That spirit guide is connected with you because of your personality, of what you like and what you don't like. If that makes sense. Cindy's saying, if the spirit gives you signs, how do you know what it means or what they're trying to tell you? How do I know? I trust in what it's telling me. A lot of times I'm human, I do make mistakes, but I'm going to just trust what it's telling me. And if that's what it is, that's what I'm getting. It's all about trust. And I mean, you can't second guess it. You start second guessing what a spirit guide is saying, then you're going to lose that message and it will never come back. Well, probably Georgina, we could probably be related then. Chief Big Bear is one of my great grandfathers. Yeah, Marianne saying she thinks she may have met a spirit guide or angel that led her out of emergency situation. Is there a way to find out for sure? I would say, Marianne, talk to a psychic or a medium. They will be able to help you with that for sure. Mersalva, if you do have a gift of where you're a healer and a messenger, and a healer for animals, I would use that. Our life here on this earth is very short, but you got to remember that when you use this gift to help animals in God's creation and help people, um, you're always going to be judged. There's always somebody. There's a lot of people out here that judge me. I'm getting judged out every day, and I know it. But I can't let that get to me because it would interfere with what I'm doing here to help people. So if you decide to go that route, that's the only thing I can say is just ignore those kind of people and do what you got to do. Yes, thanks, Shirley. Thanks, Cynthia. Yeah, just Marianne, if you have a phone appointment with me on February, just write that down, that question, so you don't forget, and I will help you with that. Yes, Mirsalva, if you're working with energy like I do, because this takes a lot of energy out of me, when I'm working with the spirit, they're taking energy from me. And by the time I'm doing one of these free readings, you'll see my energy just drained within an hour. Some spirits take more than others, and then just, I think, their personality. And they do take, this kind of work does take energy out of you. And I do this usually in the evenings because I can sleep better. I don't do it during the day because if I do it during the day, I get lazy and I don't want to do anything else. So it does take a lot of energy out of you. I understand, and it's hard for other people that don't know how this works. It's just, for me, I feel like it's like a little bit of life energy every time. But you got to, if you have this gift, you have to take care of yourself. That means you have to watch your, you know, I need to get back in the gym again like I did before, and I got to eat right. But I go through those cycles all the time. Just make sure I'm doing okay. Yeah, Gabriel, I'm still booked until February. I'm always going to be ahead, months ahead. And I can't control that. Everybody wants readings. You're welcome, Georgina. Well, thanks, Shirley. I'm a big empath, and that's for sure. And a lot of people who are empaths, we all know that as an empath, we always get our hearts broken. We always get used. We're always getting walked down quite a bit. But I just keep going and I keep going, just like everybody else. I don't feel sorry for myself. I mean, sometimes those things are learning lessons, I believe. Thanks, Steve Gabriel. I appreciate it. If you haven't subscribed yet, just subscribe right below. If you guys right below and just hit the subscribe button, that would be awesome. Supposed to let you know when I go live, but I don't know how good technology is on this one yet. Does anybody else have any questions they want to ask me? Thank you, Mary B. Yeah, sometimes yeah, I understand you're talking about Mersalva about the vertigo feeling. That's usually it takes that. I mean, that usually that's a lot of energy to get taken out of you by then. I would say for something like that, you need to just start loving yourself and start taking care of yourself and just meditate and just relax during that day. Don't do a lot of stuff. Your body needs that energy back. Thanks, Selma. Thanks, Tracy. So, Judy, the best thing I can tell you to find a spirit guide is probably connect with this a medium or a psychic. But there are other ways you can learn to meditate and ask the spirit guide or and a meditation to come show themselves to you. Maybe give them your name. That's one of those things where you have to keep doing it constantly. It's not just once. You sometimes you have to keep doing it and bugging them, and then they will do it. Another time, what could also work is if you want to know your spirit guide's name is when you right when you wake up, right before you open your eyes, that moment you wake up ask who's my spirit guide. Now you might not get the answer that time. Now when I first learned about my spirit guide, I didn't get the answer, and I got up to use the bathroom that morning, and right in my head it felt like I was saying it, but it wasn't me. It gave me a name, and that was my spirit guide. So I knew it seemed to, and that's another way that can help you. Thanks, Melanie. Well, thanks, Heidi. So Marianne's asking what are the best uses for holy water other than blessing yourself. Spray some in the corners of your houses and your closets, just like if you were smudging, because some of these spirits are malevolent and they like to hide in closets and small dark spots like closets and other areas. Um, Holy water I keep next to my bedstand because I'm a medium, and yeah, as a medium, I'm always going to be things are always around that are going to be bothering me. Sometimes it's just this funny story here. I got a couple of those, but one time I was, these spirits like to bother me when I'm in a deep sleep, and it usually happens about 3 or 4 in the morning. And and I should have known better because prior to that, I was walking to my living room and I heard a spirit. It was a female spirit. I heard her say, "That's him. He's the medium." And I didn't think much of it. I don't know why, but I just kind of ignored it. Well, that night I went to bed, and at 3 or 4 in the morning, I kept hearing something going on in my living room. Well, I've got at the time I only had one dog, but he's half. I mean, he's kind of old and he can't hear very well. But I'm like, oh no, and I knew what it was. I didn't, and so I connected with my spirit guy, and I said, "What's going on? Why? What's?" And I knew what it was, but I just want to double check. Every time something like that happens, I always want to double check. And then my spirit guys told me that there's a earthbound spirit. She wants to be crossed over. She's lost. She found you. She just needs to be crossed over. So I helped her cross over. But another time, something woke me up like that. I had holy water and I sprayed my entire bedroom crazy with it. Um, so when I connected with my spirit guide, he told me that there was a spirit that just wanted to cross over, and I felt bad over that because I didn't know. I was just too tired. I think I was just more just kind of freaked out, and I was too tired and I didn't want to deal with it. Judy's saying, can negative energy at times come home with you and stay on your clothes? Absolutely. Negative energy not only stays on our clothes, it stays on our aura. Every one of us has got an aura around us. And that aura is like a magnet, and it picks up all kinds of energy, all kinds of people's feelings, their worries, their everything negative. So once a week, I'll take a Epsom salt bath, and I don't use a cup of salt. I use like a lot of salt in my bath, and the reason for that is called spiritual hygiene. And once you start doing that, like once a week, you start feeling better about yourself. Because I'm noticing that when I don't cleanse my aura once in a while, I do pick up and I pick up on energy, and it's not good. And I realize that. And then when I do, I feel a lot better. And I make sure I get it on top of my head and wash my face with it. If you don't have a bath, get a washcloth with a lot of salt and just scrub yourself with salt, a salt bath, whatever salt works good. Yeah, better safe than sorry. So Alma, just be yourself. Just if you have any questions, just write them down prior to your reading in October. You're fine. I do most of the work. So Sarah's asking, how come not every spirit crosses over? You're welcome, Judy. Um, because there's a lot of reasons why spirits don't cross over. Some spirits are attached to humans. Some are attached to material things, houses. You have some spirits that want revenge because somebody murdered them. You have some spirits, like little kids, for instance. Little kids are always told, don't talk to strangers. But if there's an accident and they die, their spirit's going to be roaming around. And if somebody from the light comes through and then they're trying to get that little kid across in the light, that kid won't go and it'll fight that spirit because then they're told not to talk to strangers. Well, we all have free will, so that spirit can't force that kid to go in the light. And that's so some kids get stuck that way. It's kind of sad. Um, let's see here. There's just so many different reasons why some spirits don't cross over. Narcissistic people, for instance, I'm assuming sociopaths because it's all in the same group. Those kind of people are usually the earthbound spirits. I've noticed as well. They're usually the what do you call the shadow people that we hear because they like to hide in the dark. They don't want people to know what they're evil, what they're doing. Just like when they were alive, they don't want people to know they're that side of them as well. So they like to hide. Lucer Aguilar. I've never tried to communicate with spirits in another language, but I believe if they're in heaven, I can communicate with them in English, and they could communicate with me the same way. I'm almost positive of it. Steven's saying, if a family member doesn't like you, why would they be around you after they passed on? Well, if they crossed over, Stephen, that means they're trying to let you know maybe there's a message of forgiveness they want to tell you. Maybe they're sorry they've done something to you or said something to you. There could be a lot of reasons. Other reasons could be, again, if it's a narcissistic spirit, that spirit is not done with you yet. That spirit wants to probably, if it's earthbound, that spirit wants to torture you and make your life hell, and you'll have bad luck. So it's hard to say at this moment. Each spirit's different. So Mersalva, yes, spirits do when they cross over, they do go to heaven. I know some religions and some people don't believe they do, but they do. I only cross with. I've done many, many readings with people who've committed suicide, and when I connect with them, they're up here, a higher realm. So they do go to heaven if they believe in God. I do. I believe that so much. Well, Mary Ann, if your mom gave you a crucifix to put in every room, it's more of a safety measure to keep some evil out. There's nothing wrong with the crucifix in every room. In fact, I encourage that. I have one in almost every one of my rooms. Um, evil takes different forms. Like, it's sneaky. It can sneak in whenever it wants. And if you protect your house those kind of, if you have a crucifix, it kind of annoys some of that evil, and they don't want to be around it. In fact, they probably don't want to stand around it, and they'll get out. Your mom was probably just doing it just for protection. That's all it was. That's why she did that for you. Heidi's saying, if I ever let myself ask you for someone to come through, no matter who it is, will they tell you I have a beautiful soul and spirit? I'm sure they will. Yeah, they will. Everybody's got a beautiful soul and spirit. I believe that. Most people. Right now, I'm starting to see a lot more narcissism than I've ever had in my past, and that's I don't remember ever be seeing so many evil and so much darkness in people than I have in this last year or last couple of years, maybe. But it seems like it's surfacing more and more. And sad. I pray for a lot of these people. Um, I don't know. I don't know if it's just the energy in this world that's all tensed up and everybody picks up on it like some kind of darkness. I don't know what it is, but I'm seeing more of it. I want to see more people helping each other out. I haven't seen that as much. I want to see people more giving. And I'm not just saying people saying, well, I just gave $1,000, so I think I'm a good Christian. That's what my stepmom does, and she's a narcissist. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about doing stuff because you want to do it and you want to help somebody and you don't tell anybody. That's the kind of stuff I like seeing. Um, that's how it's supposed to be, to help each other out. But I don't see much of that anymore. Um, but I pray that it gets back. I really do. Thank you, Masala. Does it take a lot of prayers for a person whom has passed, help them go to heaven quicker? No. You don't have to do a lot of prayers, Judy. But praying a lot does help. The more you pray, it just shows that we care and we want help. We want to help them. I don't think like a lot of, but at the same time, when we get more people to pray, it seems like like miracles do happen. So it's hard to say on that one. I guess it's all up to God at that point, and I don't pretend to be God, but I would say, um, you know, just have more people pray over somebody or some situation, and that's when things happen. That's when I notice a lot of things happen. I wouldn't say it makes them go to heaven quicker, but if it might help the situation. Yes, Rainbow. Our souls and our spirits are different, and I'm gonna do a page on that one day because it's really complicated, and I know some people are confused by that because we're always taught our souls and our spirits are the same, but spiritually it's different if that makes sense. And I'll do a video on that one of these days because I know some people are gonna get really frustrated on that. I'm like, well, no, it's the same, and I could already just see it happening. People are gonna just want to debate over it. But I'm just going to tell them what I've been told in my courses, what I've took, and it makes sense and why the soul and the spirit are a little bit different from each other. It's connected. Everything is connected. I believe that too, Joyce, about the narcissist keeping trying to. It's all about control, trying to keep spirituality inclined under control. I believe that. I don't know, Marianne. She's asking, does God give non-believers another chance to know He's real once they're dead, so they can go to heaven? I don't know God's ways. I get a lot of people that question me on stuff of God's ways, and I'm going to be real. I don't know His ways. That's kind of one of those things where I've been told. I know some atheists go to heaven and some don't. I don't know why some don't. Maybe because they've done evil in the world. I don't know. I know God is merciful. Thank you, Elma. I appreciate it. Thanks, Heidi. Yeah, I mean, some if you go to some mediums or some psychics, they might tell you. Sorry, that's my dog's toy. If you ever hear squeaking or something weird going behind me, it's my dog's toy. But if you're gonna go to some medium or psychic and they're gonna tell you stuff like that, I rather not because I don't. I mean, God is very. We'll never know God's ways. I don't know who He allows in heaven and who He doesn't. I don't know why. I know that He's very merciful. I know that, and I don't. I do. I think I've connected with some atheists in heaven. I never asked anybody when I connect with them if they're an atheist or if they're a Christian or a Muslim. I don't do that because that was never my business. I just connect with spirits who their loved ones want me to connect with. So I just leave it like that. But I'm assuming that they do go to heaven because I know God's very merciful. Yeah, Marianne, I'm going to do a video on that. I think I have to do a video on that because if I explain it right now, it's a long. I think it's a little bit longer than and trying to explain it what the difference is between the soul and the spirit, if it's connected. If I try to explain this a certain way, I think it'll confuse everybody because everybody's going to have a lot of questions on it. I can tell you a difference between the spirit and a ghost if you like. A ghost is earthbound, spirits are crossed over. They're not the same. If your house is haunted, you're always going to feel like you're drained. You're always going to feel anxious. You're always going to feel scared, nervous, always on edge. You're fighting with your loved ones. You're picking up their death state, which means that if that person died of like diabetes and cancer, you stay there long enough, you're going to have health problems that are similar to that because they're picking up that energy into your body. Now, if a spirit comes down to visit you, it's not like that. A loved one that comes to visit, they'll do things around your house, let you know they're there, but they don't stick around. They just check on us. So there's a difference between those, if that makes sense. God bless you, Alma. Keep fighting that not smoking. I used to smoke, and I know how it is. Um, Alma, if you're going to meditate and you fall asleep during meditation, make sure that you protect yourself. Because when you're sleeping and you're open, I'm not trying to scare you, but there are things that can jump through and give you nightmares or attachments. So just make sure you're praying and protecting yourself before you do that every night. What is my Lucero is asking what is my take on purgatory? Now Catholics believe in purgatory. I am a Catholic, so I do believe there is a purgatory. I don't, but I was told in my readings there's three levels below this earth, and there's three levels above. Like there's three different heavens, and then there's earth, and there's three levels below. And one of those levels below is, I believe, is purgatory. Now, some people will say, Paul, do you believe in hell? My belief system doesn't matter what I believe. Um, if I believe in hell or not, it's what you believe. I can say there's not a hell, but some people want to argue with me about that. But I always tell people, remind people, I'm not here to convince anybody. I'm not here to change anybody's minds of what your religion is or what your faith is. I'm just here to tell you what my readings and my teachings have been told me. That's all I can do. And I know I get some people frustrated with that on here, and I don't. It's not my intention, but I know it does happen. And later on, I read the comments if I have that chance, some of those older comments, and some people are just getting all negative about it. But it's not like I was trying to get what I'm saying. I'm not trying to get people to get angry over it. I'm just telling people I'm just a messenger. You're welcome, Elma. Good point, Rainbow. Yes, we're all, and I believe that what you said. I believe we're all interconnected somehow. Each one of us has God in us. We're all connected. They even found, I remember reading somewhere, each one of us has a part of the star, was it stardust within us? So we're all connected. All the universe, the whole Earth, everything's connected. Judy, my original degree is in criminal justice. I used to work for the county here in Yellowstone at a youth jail for 19 and a half years. But I did take a spiritual development course. It wasn't a class. It was a long course. I think it was about 8 months. And the lady that did that helped create it, her name was Jean Carey. She's from New York City, and this is where it's based off of. It's all about the spiritualist movement back in the day, and there's a lot of scientific studies that have proven that spirits exist. I mean, that spirituality, the spiritual stuff exists. And that's what drawn me to it. And then when I took the course, everything just kind of opened up to me. It made more sense. Like the stuff you see on TV with these psychics and mediums, I can call a lot of bull crap on some of that stuff. Um, Even when I see some of these psychics or mediums in my own hometown, and they're telling people stuff, and I'm looking at them, I'm like, that's not even true. I mean, where are you getting this at? So, but I can't say that because it's going to ruin my reputation, so I have to be quiet. But I know bullcrap when I see it, though. So when I'm I like, one thing that keeps me separate from other psychics or mediums is that I'm actually certified, and some aren't. I mean, unless you go to a good psychic or medium that's seasoned, which means that they've been doing this for 20 or 30 years, I would trust them or trust somebody that's been certified. Those are your best options. And also just don't be shy and wonder where they're getting their messages from. Ask them. If they can't tell you, don't pay and walk out. That's what I tell people. The place I got it from was called the Center of Spiritual Enlightenment, based in New York City. It's a psychic development course. Well, thanks, Eddie. Thanks, Joyce. Yes, exactly, Rainbow. I totally agree. Yes, Judy, that course is very accurate. It's all based scientifically proven, and it's if anybody ever wants to take that course, I would suggest a course like that. That would be the best one to take. Well, you guys, my hour's up. I'm just looking at the time here, but I want to say thank you guys for stopping by to say hi and let me talk. I appreciate you guys. I will be back on Facebook doing free readings this Sunday. I think it's on the 13th. That's when I can come back finally. I'll be doing that again this Thursday. I mean, this Sunday. So if you're not on Facebook, you can find me on there. I'll just type it on here if you need to find me on there. Give me 1 second here. I'll type it how to find me. So if you go on Facebook, if you type in this on Facebook, Psychic Medium Paul Casino on Facebook, and if you just like the page once, you just have to hit the like button. You can always find me on there. And if you like that page on there, then if I'm going live, it'll show that I'm going live on there. Also, if you're new on here, please subscribe below. When you subscribe, it'll notify you when I'm live as well. And I appreciate you guys stopping by and saying hi and let me answer some questions for you. I like doing this once a week because when I'm doing my regular readings, I don't my free readings once a week. I don't get to answer these questions because I'm always focused on the reading, and so it's hard for me to stop and try to remember and answer questions like this. So I try my best to help you guys out. It's all about sharing and helping and educating everybody. So you guys have a good night. Thanks for allowing me to do this, by the way. I really do appreciate it.